Make it click. We are talking about navigating the evolving business landscape. And my very special guest today is none other than Carla Vaughn. Carla is an accountant and a business and tax consultant. She's a speaker, she's an author. So she's got a wealth of information. So stick around and get some good advice from Carla. Carla, welcome to Make It Click.
Thank you so much, Christine, for having me.
Well, this is a short podcast. As I say, it's like a
Yes.
15 to 20 minutes, but on this topic, I'm sure we could go on for a long time. But let's just give our audience some highlights of what they really need to be thinking now. Now you're in the financial area for many years now.
Yes.
Over 20, is it? Is it over 20?
Well, if you don't tell anyone, yes, it's been over 20. It's actually been closer to about 30. I
Mm.
used to be a financial planner with IDS American Express in my younger years. And eventually, well, even after I moved to Colorado, I was still a financial planner. And then I morphed into honing in on my accounting skills more. And one thing led to another.
Well, accounting is something that every business should have. And I'm going to use that word should. People don't like the word should, but in this case, I'm thinking you'll agree with me that every business should have a bookkeeper, an accountant, at the least. Now, when we think back to, okay, so you've seen a lot of changing times over the years, but
Oh, yes.
in the last, say, 5 to 10 years, with how things are changing, what do businesses need to think about changing for themselves, with the changing landscape?
I think some of the very key things that businesses need to do to change their landscape, number one is to simply adapt. If you're not constantly learning to adapt to the changing times, you're going to be left behind. I think that's one thing is very crucial. Part of that comes down to just not only how does your accounting systems and you know people coming in to have you for services come out, but how you're servicing that client is huge. For instance, you may have heard, I'm sure you've heard the, oh, there's no customer service anymore kind of routine that so many people complain about. There's so many times that people are leaving, and professionals I'm talking about are leaving money on the table because they're not properly serving their customers. So part of that changing times is understanding that customer service is not dead. Now disco might be dead, okay?
Oh,
But
darn.
customer service, I'm going to tell you, is not dead. I'll tell you, one of the nicest compliments I got was from a new client who, we have a process because we're client focused, and that is to follow up with the client until they pretty much say yes or no. It's fine, but say something. And I had followed up for about 3 or 4 weeks, touching them, doing a touch, as they say, once a week by email, text, or phone call. And when I finally talked to her, she said, we've been traveling, things have been hectic, but she says, it's so nice. You are the first professional we have engaged that has continuously asked us, are we ready to make a decision? Are we ready to get into bookkeeping? What are we wanting, to do with the business? And it was a huge compliment. So I
Mm.
think one of the things we have to understand is, one, customer service isn't dead. Number two, keeping up with changing times, whatever that is for your business, whether that's automating, whether that's getting a better CRM, better software, whatever that looks like. So those are just two things that businesses can do to help evolve this landscape.
I think it's interesting how we were talking earlier about the actual human beings and not the Google machine to find answers. And it's easy. I think human beings have an easier time of taking themselves off your email list, saying, oh, they bother me. I don't need to hear from them anymore. It's like when it's someone like you or myself, we're like an individual business owner, but they'll let the big box stores and big business just, infiltrate their inbox. And when it comes to, getting the right answers, too often they do want to go to that Google machine versus speaking
Absolutely.
to a human being. And I
Mhm.
know I've been pleasantly surprised with a few pieces of software that I use that I highly recommend these because you can easily get a hold of a human being. I say
Yes.
customer service is what sold me on it. It's a piece
Yes.
of technology, but when you need the help, there is a human being on the other side that's easy to get a hold of. But yeah, I'm thinking
Mhm.
I see all too often, and we all want to increase our business. So I think we need to remember that uh, as people are trying to follow up with us, we're doing the same thing to our potential clients, and it's getting a little bit into that
Mhm.
mindset area of
Absolutely.
yeah.
It's all about the mindset. You hit the nail right on the head. And that mindset for our day and age, unfortunately, is I don't need to talk to anyone
Mm,
because I've got Google, I've got YouTube, I've got whatever. And that it can be a downfall because sometimes people, whether we're talking business owners or we're even talking family members or someone looking to buy a house or whatever the situation is, and that person and whatever situation they're dealing with, it comes up with, but I've got this really unique question and I really need to talk to someone,
mhm,
or I've got this little problem that's got to be solved. How do I solve it for my business or for my situation? And this is where professionals should be valued more and more and more as a source. And I'll be honest, Christine, this is one of the things that I do for clients and prospective clients is that I offer free consultations. I
mhm.
want to talk to you first because among other things, who am I? I don't know if we're a good fit yet
Yeah,
until I talk to you. You may have this super wonderful, thought that I can help you, and when it comes down to it, the reality may be I have to refer you to a tax client because your situation is that far out there, for instance. You know what I'm saying? Or a lawyer or someone else that is in your profession that is an expert at what you do, who knows more of the answers for what you do.
yeah, yeah, and I've seen firsthand some service providers in certain areas, they try to make a sale with email going back and forth. Somebody asking them particulars and then, "Okay, how much do you charge?" And this yeah, and I've recommended picking up the phone, and they're like, "Nope, this is the way I do it." I'm like, "Okay, then you're
Oh,
probably losing sales." But to rely just on email or text message to make a sale, are you kidding me? I couldn't believe.
I have heard it myself, so believe it, believe it.
Okay, talking about sales. Okay, one thing you have some advice on how to improve our sales without losing our existing customers because it's always nice to keep the customers and not have to find new ones all the time, but we need to
Yes.
kind of be doing both.
Mhm.
So what advice do you have in that area?
That's always something that a lot of entrepreneurs get freaked out about because they may realize they need to increase their prices or they may need to tweak some things here or there and they're afraid, literally afraid to lose their clients. I specialize in companies that are in the growth mode. And because of that, you also have to realize you've got to get out of the startup brain mentality that says, I need every client.
Mhm.
Okay. This is where we are. Those first 1 to 2, 1 to 3 years, easy. It doesn't matter. I'll take that client. I'll take that client. It's a horrible client, but I'm going to take that client. And then when we start calming down and realize, okay, we're going into 4 years, 5 years, 7 years, we might survive entrepreneurship after all, then our thoughts start changing to, but I need to upscale. Okay. And it's like, but how do I do that? Because these other clients that have been with me for a few years or whatever. And one of the secrets is first, again, going back to what we were already talking about, changing our mentality. So, what does that mean? It's getting out of that mentality of lack and desperation for clients and know that you have become the expert. Okay, you have proven yourself time and time again because maybe you only have 5 or 6 clients. That's okay. But guess what? Maybe they've been with you for that whole 5 year period that you've been in business. Know, like, and trust. How many times have we heard that?
Yeah.
People engage us for knowing, liking, and trusting us. And so what that means is that you have to be delicate, but sometimes up those prices. And you have to think too, to me, what's fair to you? So
Mhm.
for instance, I up my prices for my tax people about once every 4 years. Okay.
Mhm.
I don't give them any surprises. I always let them know ahead of time, hey, this is the year we're going up. But you're only going to be going up, say maybe a maximum of $50,
Mhm.
unless your situation's dramatically changed. Sometimes part of retaining a client is creating and enforcing that trust, and that means communicating with them. Okay. Other part is realizing that you cannot stay at the same level, at the same price 10 years. It's not going to work. You're not going to be sustainable. And then the third factor to that is also understanding you must create value for your clients. This is something I'm constantly striving to do: create value and add value every step of the way. Maybe it's this year that I'm going to do free estimated tax payments for my clients that have been on the books for the last, 7 years or 10 years or something. And that's going to be my new offering. I'm going to have to increase the price a little bit, but ultimately, they're going to get added value out of what I do already for them by upping my services. So you have to keep that in mind. You can't just go and say, hey, I'm going to double my prices. And, you hear some of those stories and some businesses survive. Not to say it can't happen, but why risk it? What are you in business for? You're in business long term, right? That's
Yeah.
what we all want to do, is be in business long term.
Yeah. I like how you say, that added value, and so that you stay in touch with your clients along the way, and it comes out customer service, so that when you do increase prices, people are like, "Oh, well, yeah, service has been great. I don't got a problem with it." Versus the people who don't do these things, and then it's like, "Sorry, I have to increase my price." It's like, "Well, hold on a minute here." Yeah, if you're not in touch with your clients along the way, knowing, "Is
Hmm.
everything okay? Do we need to adjust something?" Yeah, then
You've
you're
got
gonna
it. That's
risk.
right.
Yeah, yeah. But you alluded to something when you were finishing there about, running your business. All too often, people kinda, like, start a business and then kinda, like, duct tape it together, I like to say. Um, and before they know it, it's like, "Oh my god, my business. I'm not running my business. It seems to be running me. Oh my goodness." Now I know what I feel about what duct tape is. I'm thinking more in the technology area. But what advice do you have to prevent it from happening in your area of expertise? How do you prevent it, from running you in the first place?
Do you know, honestly, someone had to bring it to my attention.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
And then from that point on, it changed everything. And I
Uh,
was like, what? Oh, gosh, yeah, my business is running me. And this is so important. Either you're going to run your business or your business is going to run you. What does that mean? When your business is running you, that means you have no boundaries or limitations for yourself or your clients. Okay, I'm going to say this again. You have no boundaries or limitations for yourself or your clients when your business is running you. And so the thing is, it's like, why do we go in business in the first place? Oh, we wanted more time with our family. We wanted to take longer vacations. We wanted to have more money. We wanted to have more freedom. All those things, guess what? Requires some boundaries and limitations to running your business versus vice versa.
Mhm.
And so, like, one of the first things I did was, I'm again a client focused business, so I had to say, what does that truly, truly mean? 24 to 48 hours, I'm going to get back with you if you call, text, or email me. Number one, absolutely 100%. Even if it means I have to say, I need more time to handle your situation, but I will get back with you in a day or two. That's number one. Second of all, I started saying, I'm not working on Sunday. Tax season, not tax season, I don't care. I'm
Mm.
not working on Sunday at all. Number three, Saturdays. I used to work half a days. Now, no. If I have someone who just can't meet me during the week by Zoom or in person, that's fine. You know, but other than that, I'll take a Saturday appointment up to 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and then that's it. So again, looking at those limitations you want for yourself, and what it does is it reduces your stress. It allows you to have more time and ultimately more money, because also too, your clients are going to respect you. And you've got to get that respect out of your clients sometimes by having to say, unfortunately, no, not now versus no solid no.
Right.
And so that way you start running your business. Those are the steps to start running your business, by defining what you're giving your clients, what are the limits to what you're going to do, and what kind of life you're going to have for yourself as this super entrepreneur that we all want to be, and maybe secretly all are, because we're just entrepreneurs anyway, right?
Mm. Yeah, yeah. Well, yeah, that boundary thing, that's another area that I've heard numerous people over the years. Well, in fact, this morning I had a client call, and she really likes to do everything basic. Paper calendar, although she has an online scheduling tool that's really not connected to online calendar. And we were discussing all this, and she brought up how it just feels too constricting to use electronics for scheduling appointments. It's like if somebody wants an appointment, it's like, all right, let's get our calendars out and schedule something. It's like, and I said, it feels like it's going to be constricting at first until you actively use these things, and you'll find that you actually have more freedom. And I got that years ago talking with a friend, and she's talking about scheduling. She got into business to have more time with the family, wants to do whatever she wants when she wants. And I said, "Boy, it sounds like you are doing that." And she says, "Yeah, but when we're driving, to take a weekend getaway, I'm working in the car. I'm working, I'm not totally present."
Oh,
And I was
yeah.
like, "Well, okay, then maybe you need to block out your time during the week and get your work done so that you can be
Yes.
fully present when you go away then."
Absolutely. That was a great little nugget of advice, and that's exactly what she needs to do.
But yeah, people get into business for that freedom and do what you want and everything. And they're
Right.
just, oh my God, I have to schedule everything. I can't do that. That takes away my freedom. It gives you more freedom.
Literally, it gives you more freedom.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, I'll be honest, if it's I have my cutoff time for answering a client phone call. If I see that a client is calling and it is after a certain time in the evening, I am not going to answer. It's,
Mm.
unless they're like client friend or something like that, maybe, or cousin, okay, maybe. But
Yeah.
other than that, I mean, that too is just shutting down the phone, shutting down that technology gives you time for your cells and your body and your mind to rejuvenate, to say, okay, I can do this
Mhm.
another day. I can do this
Mhm.
tomorrow. And also too, most things aren't going to be such a fire for any customer or client that they can't wait 24 hours.
Mm.
And if
Yeah.
it's gotten to that point, then they helped start that fire. They
That's
did.
right. That's right. That's right. Now, I don't want you to give all of your secrets away, but you believe that you could really make any business profitable. Is that true?
Absolutely. Absolutely. That is one of my speaking topics. So, speaking to elevate, that's kind of like my umbrella. And under that comes my accounting business and my nonprofit business. And yes, almost any business can be more profitable. I used to teach a class at Colorado Free University that was 40 ways to make your business more profitable. I don't go through the whole 40 these days because things have changed because of technology. So some of that's gotten wiped out for me. But yeah, any business can be more profitable. But again, you got to start with the mindset, and you got to get over that fear and lack that if I do this, then I'll lose a client.
Mm.
Okay. Instead, you need to understand they always have things out there to damage small businesses now. oh, the food was bad, the hotel
Ah,
was bad, or the moving company was bad. And so you've got that stuff running in your background.
mhm,
Believe it or not, part of being more profitable is all about client care. The more careful you are, the more conscious you are, the more connected you are to your clients, the happier they're going to be, the better reviews you're going to get.
mm,
Even if something doesn't go right, you do certain steps to remedy the situation. You're not going to get a black eye out there on Yelp, because you did at least everything you could to remedy the situation. All that eventually leads to your bottom line of being more profitable.
mm. Very good. Thank you. Well, this has been wonderful, Carla. I've really enjoyed our conversation here. How can people get in touch with you if they would like to know more?
Well, there is the usual technology way of pick up the phone. I have a super easy number of 720-329-2999. You can find me on LinkedIn. You can find me on Facebook. Uh, you can go to our website, bosseselevate.me. That is our new Boss Up classes. So you can get a free consultation. And because if you reference that they were here today and saw your lovely Make It Click podcast, you get an extra 15 minutes. So you get a 45-minute free consultation. So you can go through bosseselevate.me or contact me through social media. Any kind of way is acceptable.
Well, this has been wonderful, Carla. I do have one more question for you, though.
Sure.
And this is about you and your business. Somewhere along the line, is there something that comes to mind that you look back and say, wow, that's what made it click for me in my business? This is something that you learned, something, that you started to, maybe it was a piece of technology that you like. Is there something that comes to mind that you are so grateful to have had that in your life to make it click?
People, for one, people who believed and supported me. But I think if I had to say, answer that kind of as simple and as clear as possible, the two things was literally, I'm serious, someone telling me my business was running me,
Mm,
and learning to change my mentality and realizing what I deserve and having literally more respect for myself as an entrepreneur. I'm not taking any client, allowing myself to be the L'Oreal of accountants and not have any shame or forgiveness that's needed because I tout myself as a L'Oreal of accountants. But I want to service the high net worth individual. I want to get you from here to there and stick with you during that journey. So I think having someone tell me that was super
mhm,
important. And I think the other little nugget is I was exposed to not that long ago the technology, the now site.ai. And this is something I do share with people when they have a consultation or a meeting with me, because that has helped smooth out and help focus in on personalities and how every personality in business is a little bit different, and understanding people's pain points as well as understanding their hot spots that make them excited is equally important. So maybe three things.
Okay.
That's it.
Hey, no, thank you so much for that information. And I hope that our listeners have taken copious notes on everything that you shared today. Thank you so much, Carla, for being my guest today on Make It Click.
Thank you so much for the invite. It's been great. I've really enjoyed our conversation today.